once again, it is the next morning. And again, I've got everything in order the way I want the blanks to be. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the nib on first. I seem to be having a problem with that lately. Okay. Just a little bit crooked there. Yeah, that looks better. Whoops. There we go. I think that's okay. Now, as long as I've got the spacing just right for something short, I'm going to put the clip on. Let's see if I can keep from dropping the parts here. Guess I'm just not as agile as I used to be. Okay. Put that up against there, move that out of the way, and get this up, hold it in place here. Now once again, I'm just going to go part way in because I don't want the clip to be covering anything that is interesting. So in other words, I don't want it covering these knots. I think I'll have it right in between this knot here and this knot here, which is something like this. Come on, clumsy. Whoops. Like I said, I'm just going to put it part way in, and I'll do it the rest of the way later. This way it'll sort of hold in place while I inspect. Yeah, that'll be okay. Okay, now we'll do it again. You know, it's kind of funny. I notice things when I'm editing the video that I didn't notice when I was actually pressing the pen. And you can see it's pretty obvious I didn't go far enough. Well, I went back down to my workshop later and I did press it all the way home. Alright, the clip end is done. So we can just leave that there. Now, here's where a person can have a problem. And this is the way I do it. I've already taken off the little plastic cap here off the end of the refill. Now this is the way I do it. I screw this in, like so. Get it in, as far as it'll go. Then what I do is I turn the transmission so that the refill will be extended as far out as possible. In other words, I'm going to crank it to the right. And it's kind of hard to do because these things are kind of greasy. Okay, now that's extended as far as it'll go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure on here just to see, you know, approximately how far out I want to press this, or rather how far in I want to press this, so that this isn't sticking out too far. Because if it's sticking out too far, if you press it in too far, you're not going to be able to retract it in all the way, and you're going to be getting ink on the bottom of your shirt pocket or whatever. Now, as it turns out, I can tell that if I press it in so that this little indentation right here is flush, it should be just about right. So that's, in other words, I didn't barrel trimmer down too much the brass tube. So this is going to have to be pressed in so that this little indentation is right up against the brass tube. At least that's the plan. Now naturally I have to take this back out again. There. Oh, and one more thing. With this particular kit, I'm noticing that this doesn't want to go on very good like this, but it does want to go on like this. So I want to remember to put this little decorative collar on before I actually start pressing. Otherwise it might be kind of hard to slip over this end, if you know what I mean. I would just readjust everything here. Make sure it's nice and square. Tighten her up. And I think we're ready to press here. Okay, now remember, I want to stop as soon as this little ridge that my fingernail's catching in gets up to the brass tube. Okay, we'll test that. And what we can do is I can always shove it in a little bit more if I have to. So we'll just test it out here, but I think that's pretty good. Okay, I can see that I'm going to have to press it in maybe, well, I don't know. Yeah, about another 1/16 of an inch. I want the nib to be protruding just a little bit more than that. And then, of course, when you, whoops, and then when I crank it back, it retracts in quite a ways. So, yeah, and this is all the way in, so yeah, about another 1/16 of an inch. I think I'm going to put on my special glasses so that I can get my eyes right up close there. Okay, now that I'm looking at it really close, I think if I press it in until that groove just disappears, that should be just about right. Now this is turning out to be a very snug fit. Putting quite a bit of pressure on there. Oh, there, it disappeared. Hope it didn't go too far. Guess we'll soon know. Okay, I think that's perfect. Now that's just my opinion. Other people may not like it to go out quite that far, but it still retracts far enough in that it's not going to get on your shirt pocket. Well, let's see what happens here now when we slip this on, and which way will look the best when it's retracted. Okay, I think probably like that. Here we go. Now, does it work? Yes, it does. Well, let's clean these up and have a nice close look. And I'm also going to show you a couple of places where I could have done things better if I'd have taken my time. Anyway, well, they look pretty good. Now, I know you can't feel them on YouTube, but it is very smooth. And it might look like it's rough, but it's not. However, I think that had I done the cactus juice process, they might have looked a little bit better. Now, maybe, maybe not, I don't know. They might have been a little bit more shiny. Now, it's just a guess there. Now, here's another thing that I could have done better, and I did know better. I should have pressed that coupler in to the brass tubes separately, first into one and then into the other. It would have worked out a lot better. Would have had a lot less buckling and binding there. And there is a couple of places where I probably could have gone down a little closer to the bushing. But I'm not entering these in a contest or anything, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, I'm not going to polish the inside of the brass tube or anything like that. Yeah, I think they do look nice. Well, it is now time for the famous test. Make some room here. Get something to write on. And we'll see what happens. We'll do the pencil first. Now, the way you get the lead to come out the end is, of course, as you probably already know, you just push this in. Every time you push it in, it probably comes out a 64th of an inch. You can just barely see it there. Maybe I'll do it one more. I'll be careful not to press too hard and break it like I did with the mini shop pencil. That works okay. To get it to go back in, you press and hold and push it in. Okay. Now the pen, of course, that's pretty obvious. Turn it. And here we go again. Well, my friends, this series is over. And once again, thank you for watching.